Okay. Okay, so I've given you the link to this Jamboard. And what I'd like you to do is go in and on that first page there of the Jamboard, I'm asking you about social media and what worries you. And if you would just put sticky notes up um, about anything that concerns you as a communicator, if you're a communicator in charge of things for an organization, like what might keep you up at night. Okay, and when you are done with that, you can go to the second page here and list any ideas about what you can do on social media to help with some of those things that might freak you out otherwise. Okay, let's talk a little bit about these, and then I think Kelly's actually going to join us at 2:30. So I'm going to skip over to Dr. Burks for a little bit, and then we're going to skip back to social media. So that's our plan. Okay, so I'm seeing that I think we can kind of classify some of these together. Basically, we have kind of how the user's going to read your message, right? The connotation of the message and how my message will be received. Those are both like you're intending to put something good out there or funny or fun, and will someone misread it or see something in it that you didn't see, and now you have a problem. Can anyone think of an example where this happened?
You could, for example, I don't know if anyone remembers, do you still call him president? I don't know. But Donald Trump, when he had the press conference about COVID and he said people should drink bleach, he was probably, I don't know, but I hope he was being sarcastic, but people took him serious because he's the president and they actually did drink bleach. So it's like not everyone can tell if something is sarcastic or serious, and that just
Okay, and it's not specifically on social media, though he's had some things on social media where he said something and then he said, I was just joking. And it didn't sound like a joke. Um, Hard to know what he was really doing at that time, but another example, has anyone heard about the Burger King issue on social media?
Yes.
Is it
Wasn't
the?
that
Oh,
sorry.
no, you could go.
I was just asking if that was in the reading as well.
No, this is a new one.
Yeah, that like it was
Oh.
the women belong in the kitchen, and then they followed it up with, oh, they should belong in the kitchen because we don't have many Burger King female workers in the kitchen or something.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Thank
they sent out a post, or they had an advertisement. I thought it was it's a tweet, social media. Women belong in the kitchen. And I don't know if I can, fine dining kitchens, food truck kitchens, award-winning kitchens, casual dining kitchens, ghost kitchens, Burger King kitchens. If there's a professional kitchen, women belong there. How do you feel about that, everyone?
That's difficult. I think the play on it, I guess, is like on the sexist part of it is, I don't know, for a big business like that, that's really, really risky. Um, I like the message of it. I just don't like the women belong in the kitchen is messed up.
Well, and then, I'm sorry, who here aspires to be in a Burger King kitchen?
That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, so I think what they were trying to respond to is the fact that most chefs are men. And that, it was in support of National Women's Day, and saying they were trying to show in a clever way and funny way that women should be empowered to be, in a kitchen. Did it work?
No.
No, they had to do a retreat and take it down. So this is one of the places messages can break down, right? And I would say creating the right kind of atmosphere for your brand is also about audience perception, right? You want the thing that is going to jive with your audience. Then you have competition. That can be another area you can think about. Not gaining as many likes. This kind of, to me, goes with the competition idea that you're being competitive out there. You want attention to your brand. Use of technology. This is kind of, I'm going to put this a little bit here because This is kind of an outside of the realm of PR, but a concern about technology and how it affects babies, how it affects people's future. Negative comments for customers. So this is about your response to the customers, right? Okay. And I think Ragers and Trolls is put up there in part because, like, how do you even respond to a person who's raging or trolling? What's a rager or a troll? Anyone know?
People that just want to make aggressive comments just to egg someone on and just make chaos in a way. Because
Mhm.
trolls are also people that just like pick on people.
Yeah. Okay, so so we have competition for engagement, and then we have responses to the negative or negative responses. Okay. And then we have so fast, maybe not even factual, too much craziness with all the information that gets people worried. So, so we have misinformation and confusion. Okay, we're gonna start to think about some of these and about how we can respond to some of them. This is an overall thing that we're gonna also need to look at, but it's not quite directly in our vision here. Okay, social media, what can you do? So we have kind of some excellence theory sort of answers here, right? Listening, that we have to listen as much as we speak. Okay. And that would be adapting to the public too. So you listen and you adapt. I can be clear and have proper, okay, and this is your message design. So you can have a good message design, being clear, knowing what you're trying to communicate, making sure that it, and this has parts of that here, be positive, proactive, strategic, and being authentic also is part of it. But why would you want to also get in on trends?
Stay relevant.
Stay relevant. That's what I was gonna say.
Stay relevant. Also, this is how you get noticed too, right? If you see, so anyone remember the Super Bowl that had the blackout? And so Twitter was suddenly taken over by tweets about the blackout at the Super Bowl because everybody was so surprised. And Oreo was paying attention. And Oreo tweeted this, power out, no problem. You can still dunk in the dark. And this went viral. Like everybody started sharing this. So if you can be tuned into what's happening out there, sometimes you can get more engagement. It goes back to some of the other concerns, right? Owning your mistakes. So this is a response. There we go. Maybe do polls. So this is also, so you're also talking about listening, which goes with monitor. So Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Welcome.
I was hoping just to kind of sneak in and eavesdrop for a few minutes, but that didn't work.
That's quite all right. So we talked just briefly about what some of the concerns were about social media. And this is what students said. They talked about some problems with the perception of the audience, that they may say something that doesn't ring well with their audience. So connotation, how messages are perceived, and then also the trying to create the right atmosphere that speaks to your brand.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're worried about engagement and not getting enough engagement, and then negative responses like,
Yeah. Is all of this up on the board that you sent?
oh, am I not sharing my screen? Sorry.
Oh, well, no, I think I read them.
Okay, it's
Yep.
also on the board. Yeah, and then trolls or ragers, the people
Oh yeah, those are
who
fun.
are out there to make people mad. And misinformation and confusion. And then there was one that was more general technology use and fear about how its impact on kids and our future.
Well, where should we start? Those are all valid concerns.
Yeah, there's so much out there. And so then we were just listing some of the things that people saw that they could do. And, you know, part of it's listening, keeping the public in mind, adapting to the public. We talked about message, not massage, design.
And those are nice too.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And then being positive, proactive, and monitoring. I'm going to put monitoring here. And I think that's part of the polls suggestion. So yeah, trying to figure out and assess where customers are.
Okay.
That's good. And then owning your mistakes. And this one, have a thick skin and try your best to moderate. And this is interesting to me because it says without responding.
Sometimes.
So this is something that is actually a huge debate right now, to
Yeah.
respond or not respond. In the past, a lot of people, there was actually a theory that social media is a self-correcting a channel. And I
Yeah.
think that we've seen their problems with that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
we'll-
lived it.
we'll definitely be talking more about that.
Okay. Oh,
So
I'm excited for this conversation. I really am. This is good. This will be cathartic for me.
So I wanted to introduce Kelly Rowden Reset.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
Good.
Most people totally botch it, so that's really good.
Well, I have the last name Willette, so
Oh, there we go.
nobody gets that right. So Kelly is right now, she just started with the Office of the Inspector General at Homeland Security, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been here for 2 months, so I'm still kind of figuring it all out, but yeah.
But you'll notice she has been to Plattsburgh before. She used to work with students.
Mhm.
So, and she has an article that I shared with you all in assignments for tonight, so you can take a look at that. But she also did some time with the Speech Language Hearing Association, which is a trade association, which is another place where you may find a public relations job, is with an organization that supports all sorts of practitioners out there in a given field. And I was talking to someone this morning who said they would love to go into mental health.
Oh, yeah.
And they could go into mental health for an agency that works in the mental health field, but they also might join an association, and they might do social media, they might do fundraising, they might do event planning, all sorts of things.
So let me ask something. Is everyone here a PR major or journalism major? Who are you guys?
Do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe say your
Yeah, I don't bite.
your name, your major, and one quick fun fact.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Lewis. I am a double major, PR and communication studies, which overlap. And fun fact is, say this, but I have a dog at home.
Oh, nice. I love dogs. Okay.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm just gonna call on people just because that way I make sure I get everybody and I go in order on my screen. Maddie.
Hi, I'm Maddie Stewart. I don't know if I'm a senior. I'm actually not a PR major. I'm a digital media production major, with like a concentration in social media and a PR minor. And a fun fact. Oh, I studied abroad and I'd like to work in travel.
Nice. I needed a digital person about a year ago. Where were you? Okay. Yeah, I know you were there. Is it Charlize? Did I pronounce that right? Was I close? You can tell
You
me.
did say it right. Okay. Okay, so my name is Charlize. I am a public relations major and I'm minoring in journalism.
Okay.
Fun fact about me. I am a gamer, sort of.
You're
play
I
the
didn't hear that.
games.
What was it?
Oh, I'm a gamer, sort of. I
Okay.
don't know if I would call myself that, but I do play The Sims. I have 1,200 plus hours, and I play Call of Duty on the side. Yeah.
I'm going to run that by my kids and then they're going to tell me how cool that is. All right, Hunter.
So I'm a public relations major with a web design minor. And fun facts, I just drank all my Dunkin' coffee, and so I'm kind of sad about that. That's my fun fact.
You know what? I'm a Dunkin' person too. I prefer Dunkin' over Starbucks any day. And I just got my K-Pod full of it. So cheers to you. All the names disappeared. Where did the names go?
Oh, weird. Jasmine is next on my
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm a communication major and PR minor, and I like to write.
Oh, good.
That's why I'm in this.
Oh,
I'm in
good.
this major. I like to write. So
Yeah, you're going to find that helpful. That's good to hear.
and I have Lauren next on mine.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a senior. I'm a PR minor with a major in English language arts. And fun fact, I'm from Cuba. So.
Oh, okay. That is fine. All right.
Dan, I think you're up.
My name's Dan. I'm a communications major with a marketing minor and PR minor. And fun fact about me is I'm from Westchester County, New York.
Okay, good deal. And we've got one left.
Yeah, my name is Tyler. I'm a double major in music and management and a triple minor in business, economics, and public relations.
Wow, that is really ambitious. Holy
Yeah.
cow. Okay.
And I play a lot of instruments, I guess.
Yeah, I would think so, actually. You know, I just realized you guys are gonna laugh at me. I don't have my earbuds on. I'm like, why is this sounding weird? Just a second. Good Lord. I know, I just like my kids are upstairs and they're taking classes, and so I just want to make sure.
Sure.
All right, can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Fantastic. All right, so I mean, yeah, I am in a new job right now. I've only been here 2 months, and I'm doing some social media, but not as much as I was before. So I'm going to really talk to you about what I learned in my previous job. I was with the American Speech Language Hearing Association, and I was their social media manager for 6 years. Now, question. This is an easy one. Who's on social media? You can just raise your hand. Just go ahead and do it. Yeah. What are your favorite platforms?
Twitter.
Really? Okay. TikTok, anyone? It is
I
crazy.
would also say Twitter,
Yeah, I like Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
mostly because like not much of my family's on Twitter, so I feel like I can really use it how I want to.
Yeah. What about Instagram? Who's on that?
I'm also on that.
All right. Is anybody on Facebook? Is it mostly just to sign up for things so you can log into things more easily? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in my job, and actually, it's very true. All of these organizations, these associations, anywhere you have a passion, they all need someone to tell their story. They all do. They all need PR people. They all need social media people. So, you don't have to go work at an agency. You absolutely do not have to. You can go work for an association. You can go work for a hospital. You could go work, whatever passion you have, there is an organization that does it and they need help. And they all, well, if they don't, they should have social media presences, correct? So don't limit yourself as far as where you're working. I came into social media after working as a journalist for way too many years. In fact, I don't want to say it out loud because it scares me. I came from the print world. I worked as a magazine editor. I worked as a journalist. I was a freelance journalist. I taught magazine writing at Plattsburgh State. And I came to the American Speech Language Hearing Association through their magazine. So I was working on their magazine. And the reason I was really into this organization is because my oldest son has autism, and he received services from a speech language pathologist. And I was just blown away by what this whole profession does. And part of me wanted to go back to grad school and become one, but I didn't want to go back to grad school again because, I don't know, I did it once. I don't want to do it again. So I wrote for their magazine, and I learned a bunch. And they had just started, this was in 2010, they had just started their Facebook page and their Twitter account. And I think they had a LinkedIn account at that point, and they had a Google Plus page, which we don't have anymore. And that was it. And the social media manager left, and I had been doing some of the social media for the magazine. And so I decided this would be a lot of fun. I'm a writer. I know how to do this. I can go in and do this. And it was absolutely one of the best job moves I could have made, because it helped me learn that world, which, you guys all grew up with this. I did not grow up with it. Social media did not exist when I was in college. And by the way, thank God. I feel for you guys. I really do. But I had to learn it all, and I did it. But this was a very ASHA, and that's when I say ASHA, I'm talking about the American Speech Language Hearing Association. The L is silent. It's a very large organization. So it's speech language pathologists, audiologists, and we had members who work in healthcare. We have members who work in education. We have researchers. And so and they're all looking for different types of things from social media. And when I first took the job, like the first year, it was pretty simple. The expectations on social media were that you would put some information out, people might respond, you answered, and that was it. And then things started to ramp up a little bit. We opened up an Instagram account. I was the one who spearheaded that. And that was fun, but then the production part of it became higher. I had to learn how to be a videographer and a photographer and kind of a graphic designer. So I basically had to pick up these skills as I went along. And then something happened about 4 years ago. I think we can all remember what happened 4 years ago when all of a sudden social media became a minefield. What was it, guys? You don't remember? Yes.
4 years ago.
Yeah. 4 years ago, Trump got elected and decided to run the White House through a Twitter account. and really all hell broke loose on social media. And, you know, I mean, we live in a very polarized society right now, and that's when it really started to show up. It was no longer were we, you know, we could put stuff out about the professions, and that's what I would call speech language pathology and audiology, but we would put something out kind of clinical or about the professions, and all of a sudden there would be a political discussion that would evolve from it. And we were just like, what the heck is happening here? And so it really did ramp up. I mean, there were a lot of threads on there where things spun out of control fast. Now, one thing that we did have that helped is we had published guidelines on our Facebook page and on our Twitter account and on our web page. Like, these are, you know, so it kind of gave us, what that did was like, these are the behaviors that are not acceptable on our Facebook account, right? This is why our Facebook account exists. This is why our social media accounts exist. If you aren't abiding by these rules, we could block you or delete your comments or whatever. So that kind of gave us the ability to do that, because I know that one of your questions was, what do you do about trolls and ragers? My suggestion is to have a really clear statement of why your account is there and what you will and won't tolerate. And you can find those everywhere. You can write your own, you can pick them, you know, see what other companies have, that type of thing. But it, you know, it really was spinning out of control fast on a lot of them. And I'm trying to think what else I could add to that part. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anything that I've said that is, yep, I see a hand.
Hi, so, and this is because you said you spearheaded the social media part, a lot of companies have like policies with their employees that they have to like follow certain. Did you institute one of those? And
we did have an employee policy. That's a really good question. So, I mean, basically the employee policy was there to remind the association's employees that, you know, social media is not private. I don't care if you have your account set to private. People can take screenshots all the time, and how you behave on social media could reflect back on your employer. So, you know, it was kind of like, the way I described it to people is, you know, if you want to have fun on social media, go for it. But, you know, it's like SpongeBob type of fun, not Charlie Sheen type of fun. You know? Like, have, you know, just like pretend your grandmother or your boss is looking at every single thing you post. That is my big piece of advice for just about everybody. Your grandmother and your boss can see what you're posting. Oh, even on Twitter. Who's on Twitter because your grandmother's not there? Yeah. So just, I don't know. Screenshots. So anyway, I came up with this. So the reason I'm at ASHA to begin with, it's kind of funny, is because my son, right, I told you, he has autism, and autism is one of those disabilities that really affects his social skills. You know, it affects his social skills, and it's really hard for him to sort of come in and read a room. And especially, he's a teenager now, he's 17 years old, he has zero filter, you know, it's always a wild ride. It's pretty fun though. But he can come in and say some wacky stuff. So his school team came up with this scale of 1 to 5 for him. And I'll just kind of break it down quickly as to what that is for a person. And then I'll tell you how I retrofitted it into how organizations could follow a similar scale on how they're supposed to behave on social media. So scale of 1 to 5, 1 is you are the life of the party. You are killing it. You're having fun. Everyone's like, this is great. We want this person around all the time. Yeah, you're good. That's level 1. Everyone got that one? Right. Level 2 is you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Totally expected. It's all good. You know, you're just going along, saying the right things. It's all good. Level 3 is where, oops, you might have just said something there that was a little weird. Little off base, that didn't quite land the way you thought it was going to. And this is your turn to kind of step back, kind of assess what you just did, make some adjustments, make an apology if you need to, and move on, right? Like level 3s you can recover from. Level 4s are where you are behaving in a way that's angering people, or scaring them maybe. You could be swearing a lot, you could be using racial slurs, you could, these are all things that don't go over well at all. So that is a level 4, and you haven't done anything illegal, but you're really turning people off. They don't want to be around you anymore. In level 5, you get suspended or go to jail. It really ramps up quickly, right? From level 1 to level 5. Like that's pretty much what it is. So I wrote another article, and I'm sure we can send a link to you, about what that looks like as far as social media for companies, right? So level 1 with an organization, you're on social media, and this, by the way, takes more resources than one social media manager, but you're listening in, you're commenting on people's comments, you're providing information, you're doing giveaways, you're all over the place. You are just having a ball with the people, all your followers, and you're totally in sync with them, and you know exactly what they want, and you're there 24/7 providing it. Level 2 is you are providing good information on a regular basis, and you are responding to comments when you receive something, and you're sharing other people's content, and it's all very, very civilized, right? And that's usually where most organizations try to fall. I mean, you want to be in level 1, but that takes a lot of resources. Level 3 is, and I know this was one of the comments that you all had, is you said something that wasn't quite right. Something landed wrong. People are questioning like what the heck you did. And then level 4, again, like maybe an unauthorized tweet went out, or somebody, I don't know. I mean, like you've said something really off base and you were starting to lose followers. And level 5, I don't even know, like level 5, you're just a bad organization or a bad person. And, well, maybe someone should suspend your Twitter account. I don't know. But so that's pretty much what it looks like. So I think when you break it down into those levels and expectations, and for an organization, you really want to try to hit that 2, maybe that 1 level every now and then, but you can go into a 3 level really fast. Can anyone think of any examples where they've seen an organization or a brand or a company just totally step in it?
So we just talked about Burger King.
Oh, what'd they do?
They put out a special tweet for Women's Day. But they had to take down "Women belong in the kitchen."
Really? Oh my
Burger
God.
King kitchens.
Yeah.
So what level do you think that would be?
I would go at a level 3 on that one. Like, there was probably some creative brainstorm and they didn't quite realize what that was going to come out like. Like, it was probably funny in a conversation in a different context, and then they put it out in the world without that context. And yeah. So they took it down. Did they apologize?
I think so. I haven't actually gone in to follow up to see what their response was. I know they took it down.
Yeah.
Does anyone in the class, has anyone heard of Has Justine Landed yet?
What is that?
No? Oh
I
my
heard this
goodness.
saying, but I don't remember what the context was.
Oh my goodness. Justine was actually, she was actually like a PR person. And she was on her way to Africa.
Mhm.
And if you want to read about it, basically her tweet ruined her life. She tweeted before she got on the plane. Let me see. Let's see if I can look up images so I get it right. Here, share my screen. going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Just
Oh
kidding.
my God.
I'm
Yeah.
white.
I remember this one.
Uh-huh. By the time, so she only had like 200 followers or something. So I'm sure she thought, I don't know what she thought. She obviously was not thinking. That is
Yeah.
so stupid and unforgivable.
Yeah. So,
But
and
she
it's
got
hard.
on a plane, and by the time the
That's a
plane
long flight.
landed in Africa, the whole world knew about her. And has Justine landed yet was like the top trending tweet, and she lost her job. And I don't know that she has been able to recover and find another job.
Yeah, that yeah, I can't emphasize enough just taking that beat. Like if ever you think that there's something funny that you're gonna put out, just take a beat. Maybe bounce it off of a few people, maybe to bounce it off of a few more people. There's some things that I've come up with where I think it's hysterical, and then someone's like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. it you have to do that because something that's funny inside your head. Yeah, when you bring it out to the world, maybe it's just fun. Maybe that was just for you. Like you can think that's funny, and that's not for public consumption. So that was pretty bad, though. Goodness, Justine. So I mean, one that I found when I was writing this article is Ruffles potato chips. It was Thanksgiving, right? And they put out a tweet. There is a reason Tofurkeys are never pardoned. It included this picture of a Ruffles bag labeled Tofurkey 100% turkeyless, limited time, never. All right. So they're like making fun of the whole Tofurkey thing that's out there. Who do you think got mad about this tweet? Somebody did.
Is vegan? Oh,
Vegans, yes. They were furious. And apparently there are a lot of vegans. Who's a vegan? Anyone? Yeah, I'm not either. I just like really well made vegan food, and I get it with like grilled chicken next to it because I think it's funny. But yeah, no, the vegans got really upset. PETA got really upset, and they had to take the whole thing down and apologize. Now, clearly Ruffles potato chips are still out there and they're still selling, and this didn't kill them, but their tweet landed wrong. Now, the other thing that can go wrong when you're trying to come up with social media messaging is, especially as a corporation, right? If you're trying to be a little too hip and a little too cool, have any of you, all my Twitter people out there, there is a Twitter account called Brands That Say Bay. Have you heard of it? It's this whole Twitter account that is dedicated to making fun of brands who try to speak like teenagers. It's pretty hilarious. I feel like it's kind of gone downhill this year a little bit. I think whoever's running it is just on a rant right now about, I don't know, COVID. I don't know what's going on in their lives. But they have a point though, right? Because if it's kind of like their whole thing is, why is Geico Insurance trying to talk like a teenager? like you do have to sort of stick to who you are and be authentic. And it's kind of like an old person dressing up in teenage clothes. Like that doesn't work. Don't do that. Have you guys seen anything like that? Or if you did, would you be impressed? I see a lot of people going, yeah, no. Okay.
I'd laugh when
Well,
companies
right.
try to do this. It's always really funny.
It
When they try
is.
to use a meme or something, it's always bad.
Yeah, it seems forced, right? Like if you have to force it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. There's kind of like a feeling you have to get. It has to, and that's where it comes into, like, you really need to know your audience. You really need to know your audience, and you really need to listen to them. And social listening, the importance of it can't be overstated. And I will say that in my time as a social media manager, in fact, this is one of the, I needed more help listening, because by the time I left, we had 2 Facebook accounts, 3 Twitter accounts, a LinkedIn account, 2 Instagram accounts, and a Pinterest. Not that people were talking to us on Pinterest that much, but still, it's still something that needed to be tended to. And I felt like I wasn't able to listen enough as I needed to. If I wanted to also, like sleep and eat and spend time with my family, I needed that too. So I do think that the size of social media teams, because this is becoming more important, and the production effort is becoming higher on social media, that social media teams are probably going to grow in the future. I know I could have used a content producer to help me out, because when I was leaving, I know we need to go into TikTok. I know they need to. They absolutely need to, for our PR efforts and for our our public facing efforts. That would be a really good move for them. But I was already spread so thin. There's no way I was going to be able to come up with TikToks, and I felt silly doing it. I'm an old white lady. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Shirley,
Oh, I commented. I think the
Oh, I'm
Wendy's
sorry. Yeah.
the Wendy's Twitter account. I don't know who is running that. It's kind of funny,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's like, this is official. This is a corporate account. So it's
Are they being too personal, or are they being?
no. It's okay. It's sarcastic, and it's kind of rude sometimes. But it's
I'll have
just
to look at
it's
that.
fun.
Now, you know who I think handles their Twitter account really well and their Instagram account is NASA. Go to NASA's Twitter account. They do a really good job, and they must have a few people on this, because they listen in, and they will jump in on Twitter conversations that they weren't even tagged in. But if they see an opportunity to spread some NASA information, they do it. They do a really nice job. So that's another one to check out. And of course, their Instagram account is just amazing, because it's always amazing images. And another thing to think about, like, I think the reason, and this is in the article that I think you all will read, or if you haven't, or if you already have, good for you, but I'll just give you a preview. There are reasons that companies get into trouble. And one of them is they do not listen. They do not listen. They use social media as kind of like this bullhorn, and they just like, this is our information. They're treating them like a bulletin board, and it's not interactive. And the whole thing with social media, right, is you're supposed to be interacting. Like, that's the social part of social media. And when organizations just blast things out, and then they don't want to respond to it when people are like, hey, I've got questions. Hey, I want to follow up. That can be a problem. The other thing, I had it. See how my thoughts were organized at one point. Another part is they're not using the platforms appropriately. I always try to differ. Like, if I had a piece of content, and I would talk to people throughout the organization, like, this is a better piece of content for LinkedIn versus Instagram, because this doesn't really have much of an image that goes along with it, or it's more career oriented, or time sensitive stuff. Like, you don't want to put time sensitive stuff up on Instagram, because you can see that post like 3 days later, and the webinar that you're trying to get out was like that day. And so I would say, you need to do a story. And then I had to educate our entire office as to what stories were. So it's, there's the right platform for the right message. You got to keep that in mind. Like, how is that platform used? Who's on that platform? And then the other one, and this is really where if I ever go back into social media, like full on, you got to have leadership that knows social media and understands what it can do and what it can't do. there's a lot of opportunity with social media to get your message out. There's a lot of opportunity to create good relationships with your customers, with your followers. But if you turn your back on it, it can come back and bite you. I'll give you an example. We had that happen last summer. Michelle, do you want me to go into this story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let me just provide a little context here. The leadership at ASHA, it was a bunch of PhD speech and language pathologists, and very smart people, really, really smart people who are really good at speech language pathology. Not great, and good writers in the academic sense. And that's the other thing too. Lawyers, PhDs, I would always just like approach carefully because they all write a certain way, but they don't write for PR. Like that's not how they're trained to write. And it was June 1st, and the whole George Floyd thing was absolutely exploding. We need to put a statement out, right? We need to put a statement out because we work, our members work with, populations across, like very diverse populations, and we are like, no, this is ridiculous. And I had suggested, and our digital communication strategist has suggested, let's just do something super short and sweet. We support our Black speech language pathologists and audiologists. Black Lives Matter. Boom. Like that's it. Because actually, ASHA had been doing a lot of diversity work way before this happened. I'm like, that was a really good opportunity for us to shine a little bit. But leadership wanted to write the statement. And they wrote it to death to the point where we didn't really say anything. Just like, we hate racial violence. And we put that statement out. There was no arguing this. That was the statement. That was the first statement ASHA put out. And I will tell you, the week that followed, I think I might still have the tick in my eye from it. It was brutal. It was brutal. The backlash on social media was brutal. And we deserved it. Absolutely, we deserved it. And it took about a month to get leadership to understand that our digital reputation had just been flushed down the toilet. And then we had to rebuild. And it's because they weren't on social media. They didn't see these conversations going on. And they are now. They are now. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of a tone deaf statement that we put out. And it's one of those things, like when I read it and I saw it and I knew it, but there was no not doing it because, that wasn't at my pay level. And I'm just like, I already gave my opinion and it didn't matter. And when I hit send, I was just like, oh my God. It's almost like you had the match and the gasoline and you're like, okay. So yeah, that happens. And I feel like they've learned. We had a crisis communication consultant come in after that, who pretty much spelled it out, the entire organization, outlining everything that our PR department and I and our digital strategist had said. But they heard it from a consultant, so therefore it was right. Yeah, consultants always know more. So, but yeah, that's, and talk about having to have a tough skin. That is where I really had to remember it wasn't about me. It wasn't me. It was about the organization. But man, that was tough. That was probably the toughest professional thing I've ever had to go through.
And, I just want to kind of reiterate that going into public relations, especially, you're not going to instantly be known for your credibility. You're going to be building that. We had an alumna with a very similar story.
Yeah.
She was working for the British Embassy. And she arrived there and they handed her a statement that she was supposed to put out. And I don't know that it was social media. But whatever it was, she looked at the statement and she was like, American women are not going to like this statement.
Why would you
And
put
she
that
told
out?
them,
Yeah.
this cannot go out that way. And they looked at her and said, no, the boss said not to change it. It is going
Exactly.
this way.
It has been approved.
Yep. So
Yep.
this can happen to you. What I thought was kind of amazing is when it went out, she said, okay, so I'm going to prepare. And so that's what she did, is she started to create messaging to handle the backlash.
Yeah.
And then she got a promotion.
Good for her. Yeah.
So,
Right before that, I had created a I wouldn't call them influencers, but they were kind of like an external social media liaison group. Like it was people who were pretty active in social media. They were our members. As soon as that message went out, I emailed them. I'm like, all right, just so you know, I know this is bad. And they just have to hear it. Like leadership just has to hear it and then they'll change their mind. But these are and I gave them a few routes to go through. I'm like, this is how, if you respond to this way, if you go through these routes, they will hear it. But they're not going to hear it from me.
yeah, the other point that I wanted to bring out is that you will hear time and time again in public relations textbooks from anyone who is in the public relations field. PR belongs at the management table, and that this is a big part of the reason why.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. I
And-
mean, someone
in
from
fact-
someone from PR should have been in there helping them write their statement. They really should have, and they weren't.
Yeah. In fact, there have been some studies that have shown that there's an impact of power on the brain. That people
You were
who
telling me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. They've done some studies where they primed people to feel really powerful. They primed some to feel like not powerful, and then they primed some to feel nothing, like they had them do a different task. And then they had them watch a video of someone squeezing a ball. Now, most of us, when we see someone doing something, or if someone even talks to you like and says, you know, I was dribbling down the basketball court and then I reached up and I made this shot, like your brain actually fires like you're doing those actions.
Oh, wow.
And what they found is that when they primed people this way, when they watched the video of this ball squeezing, the people who were low power and the people in the control group, their brains all triggered like they were squeezing the ball. The people in the powerful group, their brains didn't trigger.
Really?
So power can impact your ability to feel empathy. So that is a serious problem, and it's one that means that we need to be there in order to communicate to the powerful person what it is that they might be missing. And then we have to also hold in check our own power and try to make sure that we're not, because if you start doing really well, you get that promotion, you start feeling a little invincible, you're going to have blind spots.
Yeah, and you know, and that I will tell you that if you go onto Ash's Facebook page and Instagram account, those posts are still up. Well, no, they're still up, and the reason is, you know, and it's the apology post came after that, but the reason is like we don't want to hide that we did this. We did this. We said this. And it was tone deaf and it was really stupid. And please see our, you know, we edited, please see our post from blah, blah, blah for our updated message. But yeah, no, we didn't take it down because, you know, I mean, and that was kind of a big to do. Like, do we take it down? Do we pretend it didn't happen? Like, no, you can't pretend this didn't happen. It happened. This is going to be remembered for quite a while. So yeah, and there's a power in apologizing too. You know, if you ever have to apologize, it has to be a I am sorry, not a I am sorry you feel this way. I am sorry. That is how you apologize. And you can give as much detail as you want to after that, but you don't want to seem defensive. Just own it. And I think that that is probably the best way to recover from whenever you step into zone 3. What any questions? Any thoughts?
So
Any-
we've been through Benoit's theory, where he goes through and he image restoration theory, and he talks a lot about he catalogs the different responses that you can have in a crisis, right? There actually was a group of researchers who actually surveyed a lot of PR professionals out in the field to see, out of all of those, which ones work according to PR practitioners. And you'll see, what's the word for the apology from Benoit?
Oh, I don't know. Someone else knows that. Guys, what is it?
Anyone remember? Starts with an M.
Mortification.
Mortification, yeah. The PR practitioners said there were 4 things that worked. Mortification, which is an apology, right? Corrective action. So we're going to fix it so that this never happens again. Okay. And compensation, we did damage, we're gonna fix that damage. If something costs you money, we're gonna pay for it. We're gonna handle medical bills, we're gonna handle whatever it is, okay? So those 3 make sense, right? And the 4th one that they felt only worked sometimes, and that was bolstering. Do you remember what bolstering is?
Give me an example of bolstering. I'd like to know what that is. I don't think we did that.
Yeah, I know that one of you will remember bolstering. What's bolstering?
Isn't that when you like use something good about yourself to like make yourself look better?
Right. And the caveat with bolstering is you better have done it before the crisis. If it's done before the crisis, then it's going to help you. If you try to do it after the crisis, yeah, and we're gonna go shake hands with, or we're gonna go pet puppies and do these nice things, people aren't going to believe it. We're pretty cynical.
So when this all went down, actually no, not even 4 months, like the 8 months leading up to last summer, we had been putting together a cultural competency website because we wanted all of our members to increase their cultural competency because they're, treating people from all different types of populations. And, you need to have that to be an effective clinician. And we've been putting that together, and it was actually a spectacular site, but we didn't launch it last spring because COVID hit. And we're like, you know what, this is not the time to launch this. We need to get COVID resources out. Like we got other things going on. And then this crisis hit. And then a month later, they wanted to launch it. And we were just like, I think we need to wait a little bit longer. Even though, yeah, we created this before all this happened, we need to say we're sorry a few more times. And we went through the stages that you're talking about. We did apologize and then did outline some of the things that the association was changing. We incorporated a lot of DEI training into our staff, into our leadership, into our board, and started going through and making some systematic changes. And once we had that put down, then we're like, and by the way, we have this website. So, well, I am like, if anybody ever has any questions, I'm always happy to answer them. And you know, Michelle, you're welcome to share my contact information. I'm happy to. But there are a lot of opportunities out there for PR and social media, and I think so. Social is just going to grow. I think I read a report earlier this year that said social media usage was up like 46% since the beginning of the pandemic. Does that surprise anybody? Yeah, no. Of course it is. Of course it is. And it's just going to keep growing. It's going to change, of course, but you know, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, there definitely is. And Kelly's absolutely right about if companies are not doing this and realizing they need to put supports in it, they should be. And I think a growing number are. I'll be interested in seeing the trends over time. But you see time and time again where someone gets in trouble and they think anyone can communicate and not anyone can communicate. So.
And in fact, the job that I just left, they are now replacing with 2 positions. Just to give you an idea. I'm like, couldn't you have just hired someone else while I was there and to help me?
Yeah, it's always the way it is.
It is. I know. I'm trying not to be resentful.
Yeah. My last PR position was also split into different positions. So, you know, yeah, way of the world. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
But like I said, you guys feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You know, I'd love to help. So that's it.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Stay warm up there.
All right. So I just want to hopefully you found that helpful. It's always good to hear real stories from the real world. I want to remind people of their homework, and I keep not quite getting to our, because it's going to take some time to talk about, and I don't want to rush it, how we could respond if we were Dr. Birx. I did put, I'll share this with you. Share. On this social media crisis thing, this is not a social media crisis. But I did share with you what people have said so far. Okay, so we are definitely going to talk some more about this on Wednesday. So as you think about these and you let them settle in your head, if you don't like what you had up there and you have a new idea, feel free to add it to this board, and we're going to discuss it on Wednesday, okay? It's on the 3rd page of the board, by the way.
Oh,
okay.
Question.
So, yes. Yeah.
I see that it doesn't have a title, and that's the task from the last class, right?
Yep.
Okay. I wrote it down, put on the dot. Okay.
Okay. All right. And I would like for you to think about like 3 messages, if you can. Like, how would you word them? All right. And well, this is not easy for anyone. So we're going to struggle through this together a little bit. Okay. So by the way, Kelly is on LinkedIn. So if you wanted to connect up with her and you're on LinkedIn, you can. And wouldn't hurt to send her a thank you for speaking to our class. Okay, so for homework, we're going to think just a little bit more about cyber crises, you know, some of those big technological crises. So I'm going to have you look at chapter 6, and there's a reflection. I also shared with you 3 reasons good organizations can look awkward on social media, which is an article that Kelly wrote. And then there is the IS-29, which isn't due until Monday. But if you wanted to get a start on that, if you haven't already, you can. So the big thing, you know, there's a couple things to read, but write a reflection here on this. Okay. Are there any questions for me?
No, yes, but I'm gonna ask after class when you like dismiss.
Okay. On a scale of, oh, we're over time, but if you have a minute, if you have to go, go. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your stress level?
This week, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
6, 7, probably.
Okay.
6, 7 for me as well.
Okay. Sounds like everyone's about in that ballpark. Okay. Hang in there. If you have questions for me, or if there's anything I can do to help, you know where to find me. Okay, I'll hang out after class for a little bit here.